Hey, everybody. Do a man's feelings matter? You'd think at first glance that, of course, they matter, but especially in our society and in the much of the spiritual community, there's actually so much judgment about a man's feelings and devaluing a man's feelings. And when I say that, I'm not talking about, a man being vulnerable, right, and expressing all his feelings, because I don't actually believe that a man should be doing that, right? Because that completely depolarizes things. What I'm talking about is, like, I want to talk about leadership, and I want to talk about when a woman tells a man to do something, when she tries to get an outcome with him, because there is so much misunderstanding around this topic, and it's very triggering for people. And it needs to be brought up, because this is really the core of so much of polarity teaching, of polarity. And for me personally, my story, it really plays into this, because before I really polarized my relationship with my wife, we had just had a son, and there were so many, so many things that have to be done, right? When you have a child, diapers and bottles, and he was also a special needs child, so there's extra stuff involved in that. And so my wife needed a lot from me, right? And what happened was, she would ask me for things, and sometimes it was more, direct, and sometimes it's just like, hey, can you do this for me? But regardless, all of that is leadership in some way. And by leadership, all I'm saying is, she was trying to get an outcome. So there is an element of leading in there. There's an element of direction. And it felt irritating to me. It felt irritating. And by that, I don't mean I would get in a crazy rage or anything like that. Just in my body, I felt, that feels irritating. I don't like that. And back then, this was before I had learned anything about polarity. I tried to just accept it. I'm like, there must be something wrong with me. How can I, how can I just learn to enjoy doing things for my wife? Maybe I'm a narcissist, right? Maybe I'm just like completely uncaring. I'm just going to learn to accept this feeling, right? I've done a lot of that work. I'm going to meditate on it. I feel irritated. I'm just going to let this go, do this healing work so that I don't get irritated anymore. I've done that for years of my life, trying to let stuff like that go and just become fully centered and let go of whatever comes up, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, letting that stuff go is incredibly emasculating, because this irritation, and first I got to give full credit to Mark Binet for this. This is where I first discovered it, was from his work, and his work is brilliant. A man's irritation when he is led by a woman, that is not a mental thing. That is not due to wounding. All right. It's not due to wounding. Get that. This is really important. This is not due to wounding. If you believe it's from wounding and you think that you can just keep on healing this, you're just going to become completely dissociated from your own body. And you're not going to be a man. And you're not going to have polarity in your relationship or in your life. This is not due to wounding. This is due to instinct. This is due to a man's instinct that we are hardwired with, we're programmed with. And we can try to cover that up and ignore that feeling, but we do such a disservice for ourselves and for a woman when we do. What that feeling is, that sense of irritation, is a signal, a very primitive signal, that something is wrong. Something is wrong. And we have a neocortex, we have thoughts and beliefs, and we can rationalize things and all that stuff, which animals don't do. Why would an animal, right, be programmed with that feeling, right? it would be programmed that way because it is in its best interest of survival to do something about it, right? Like, I feel irritated, I'm going to do something about it. And what we do as humans is we rationalize it and make excuses, play into fears, and don't do anything about that feeling of irritation. That's what I did for a long time, and it got me fucking nowhere in my relationship for years. It wasn't until I started understanding what that feeling was, what it meant, and what I should be doing about it, that everything in my relationship changed. So I would feel that irritation, and I would realize, okay, it is, at first I didn't even know exactly fully, like, what did it mean? What it means is that my woman was leading me. And when a man becomes devoted to his woman, it can actually be, that feeling of irritation will actually be stronger, because it's like, I will already do anything for you, right? I'm fully devoted for you, devoted to you. Why would you lead me? Why would you do that? Why would you disrespect me in that way? It's completely unnecessary. All I need to know is what the problem is. All I need to know is, you can just ask me permission for what you want, and I'd love to give it to you. All you have to do is express how you feel, and I will want to make you feel better, right? I'm here to serve you, and not just her, right? I'm here to serve women. So that's all women have to do. And I will do my best to serve them if it's in my capacity or in my the amount of energy and time that I have, right? So it is mildly irritating. And unfortunately, there's a lot of men who are emasculated and don't even realize it. Many of them are coaches who are disassociated from this feeling, from this instinct, or they just ignore it, right? Or if they feel it at all. And they think that that is some kind of superior way of operating, but it's not, because now they are not in touch with their body, and they're not in touch with what they need to do to polarize the relationship. If they were in touch with this and followed that feeling, that instinct, then if they just continued to do that, they would have a roadmap to polarize the relationship. Obviously, there's social skills involved and other things as well, but that is really a man's guide when something is wrong, and it needs to be followed. And I didn't trust that in myself for a very long time, and now I do. And that is more than anything. I have my conceptual understanding and all that as well, but my conceptual understanding, to a large extent, actually came from listening to my body, right? Not just my irritation, but also other feelings as well. For example, what feels really good? Well, when my wife expresses her feelings vulnerably to me, I feel 100% compelled to want to do things for her, to serve her, right? So I'm listening to my body, and that's a very natural feeling. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like obligation. It doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like a joy. And when you polarize your relationship as a man, everything you do for your woman becomes a joy, because she's no longer doing those things that cause that irritation in your body, which are destroying polarity, right? Your relationship's fully polarized. And so you've got to listen to it. And the other thing is, like, there's a big, I've heard this many times, especially recently, and in large part it's because I'm triggering a lot of these men, or a lot of these coaches, a lot of these women too, that, like, it's really insecure that a man should have these feelings, right? And first of all, no, it's not insecurity. At least certainly not for me, and certainly not for a lot of men. But let's say it was. Let's hypothetically say it was, because for some men, yes, they are going to have some insecurities, right? They're not fully in their masculine, right? They have their wounds and traumas and all that stuff, and they do have insecurities. Does it matter that they're insecure? Do their feelings matter? Because if my wife was insecure about something, and there was something that I was doing to make her insecure, I don't know, looking at other women, something like that, and it was something that was reasonable for me to change, I would love to change it for her. I would love to change it for her because I'm here to serve her. I'm here to make her feel safe and loved. And obviously, there's going to be some things I'm going to trigger in her as well, and I'm not going to like make her feel 100% good all the time, because then there's no healing. But I don't want to make her feel insecure. I want her to feel as secure as possible, make her feel as loved as possible, because that's what love is in a relationship. So if a man does feel insecure in a relationship because her woman, sorry, his woman, a slip of the tongue, his woman is leading in some way, subtle or overt, do his feelings matter? Or do they not matter because he's a man? Are we going to judge and blame men because they have insecurities? How fucked is that? Like, that is toxic as fuck. And I'm here to call that out. I'm here to call that out when coaches do that, because that's not right. Now, of course, if a man is insecure and he takes that out in a disrespectful, abusive way, that's a problem, right? But it's not the insecurity that's the problem. It's okay for a man to feel insecure. It's not okay for him to act on it in toxic ways to hurt his woman. So if a man is feeling insecure because his woman is leading in some way, like saying, hey, can you take out the trash? Can you do this for me? Please do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, stop leading me, and you're being all masculine, and you need to check out Zach Brody's teaching. Well, that would be a problem. That would be a really big problem. But it's not the insecurity that's the problem. The problem is very toxic and abusive reaction to his feelings. But his feelings do matter. It is okay to have those feelings, and it is okay to feel disrespected and insecure if his woman is doing things that are not respectful of him as a man. He just needs to act in a way that is respectfully leading, without controlling her, being dominant, but not controlling and not disrespectful and not abusive. His feelings do matter. They matter just as much as his woman. Just because a woman is a woman doesn't mean that her feelings matter any more than a man's feelings. A man is a person too, and I think we really forget that. And we judge a man when he's insecure. And of course, a lot of men judge a woman when she's insecure too, right? And I did that as well, and I take full responsibility for that. Actually, I have a lot of what's not guilt, but I certainly don't feel proud of how I've acted with past women. I had a relationship with a woman who was really insecure, and I said, like, you got to deal with that yourself. All I'm doing is checking out girls sometimes, like in the mall, and I'm not cheating on you. I'm not doing anything like that. So you just got to get over it, because I'm not doing anything disrespectful. But to a woman, that really is disrespectful. It's breaking that container. And I didn't understand that for a very long time. Not really until before I started coaching. I really started to understand that and realized, wow, that's what a woman needs. I want to give a woman what she needs. I want to give my wife what she needs, everything that she needs to feel secure and loved. And a man deserves that too. We need to understand that. We're going to change things in relationships, and create healthier, respectful relationships, and create polarity in our relationships. We need to understand that. Now, obviously, I do not advocate a man getting his needs met and his feelings honored by expressing them vulnerably and saying, like, oh, I feel really insecure right now. No, a man honors his feelings by saying, like, hey, I don't like this, as one way of saying, I don't like this. I would like you to do this, right? Healthy leading, not critical, not controlling, not judgmental, not abusive. This is what I don't like, and this is what I would like you to do. And being firm, being dominant, and being reasonable too, right? Because sometimes a man might be insecure about something that is extremely unreasonable, and that would be something that he should work on his own. Because I'm sure many women have had relationships with men that are way over the top, controlling in a really unhealthy way. And I think that a man needs to learn how to deal with that himself. But if a woman is being disrespectful by leading him, and that is disrespect, to a man, then she should respect him enough, care about him enough, love him enough to respect his leadership and work on polarizing herself into her feminine, so that she's no longer disrespecting him anymore. I think that is going to really heal a lot of problems in relationships. So we've got to stop judging this in men. I think that's all I have to say about this. This was a really important topic for me, and I wanted to get it covered. If you want more information about this kind of stuff, and you want to change your relationship, and you want to, more than anything, learn to really get in touch with your body, get in touch with your heart, and know how to properly act on it in a responsible way as a man or a woman to polarize your relationship, so you're no longer disrespecting your man or your woman, and also healing yourself at the same time, and go to relationshipofyourdreams.com and get a group membership with me. You will learn so much. And what we do is we focus primarily on communication. You have specific wording to really tap into your energy, your masculine energy or your feminine energy. We tap you into that so that a man can lead with dominance and a woman can submit and be vulnerable, stay in her feminine, not lead, and get all her needs met without ever having to lead her man in any way. That is how both a man and a woman get all of their needs met, feel fully respected, stay fully attracted to each other at all times. It's like the honeymoon that never ends. And that's something that you can have in your love life. I want everybody to have that in their love life. They deserve that. Everybody deserves that. But you got to want it enough to actually start doing this work. I think that's all I got. I'll leave my website in the comments, but I really would, if this is something that's like, oh, this resonates, this is something that totally makes sense, I want to do something about this, good, join our groups, because they are growing fast, and they are transforming so many people's love lives. It's such an amazing community for such an amazing price. You get a lifetime membership. Continue to learn with all of our content, over 60 hours of videos, and all our membership interaction with each other. It's awesome. So I'll see you there. That's all I got.